Welcome to Weekly Forex Market Analysis for the week of May 1st to May 5th, 2017. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. If you have questions about your specific investment needs, I recommend you talk to your investment advisor. Today we'll take a look at the economic news first, see what's on the plate for this week, and then we'll go into commitment of traders data to understand how the bigger players are positioned. And finally, we'll take a look at our charts to see what levels we need to watch out for this week. Looking at our economic calendar here, we start the week off with holiday in the UK. So the London trading will be really light here starting on Monday. But into the US session here, we have Treasury Secretary speaking to start things off. And then we have ISM manufacturing PMI data for the US. The PMI numbers are really important because they are a precursor to retail sales. So if the PMI numbers come out positive, chances are the retail sales will come out positive as well. So this number is very, very important. We also have manufacturing PMI numbers for China in the Asian session, and then Australian cash rate and RBA rate statements. So anytime we have interest rate statement coming out, this will be very important for Aussie market. Will be looking to see what RBA thinks of the Australian economy and where do they see the economy going over the next year. At this point, we are not expecting an interest rate change, but it would be what RBA has to say that will hold a lot of power. Further into the UK session here, we have manufacturing PMI numbers for the British pound and also out of the Eurozone here. Into the Asian session, we have employment change numbers for New Zealand and also the GDT price index, which are dairy prices. Dairy prices are very important for New Zealand because it's one of the major exports. So this is an important number. Of course, the employment numbers will be very important for the New Zealand dollar here as well. Into Wednesday here, we have construction PMI numbers for British pound. So a lot of PMI numbers coming out this week. Into the US session, we have ADP non-farm employment change, again an important number. And very, very important in the US session, we have FOMC statement and federal funds rate. At this point, we are not expecting a change in the interest rate. We did see an interest rate hike last time. However, this time we are not expecting that. The main reason for that is usually the Fed tends to do an interest rate hike when there's a press conference following the FOMC statement. This time we don't have that, plus the numbers coming out of the US haven't been that strong, so there's really no need to raise interest rates at this point. However, the verbiage that Fed uses in their statement will be very important and market will be paying attention to that, so watch out for that. Going into the Asian session, we have trade balance number for Australia, and this number is important because Australian economy is dependent on their exports. And then we have RBA Governor Lau speaking. Since there is no press conference after the RBA rate statement, this is the first time we will have RBA Governor Lau speaking. So that will be important because market will be looking for direction from RBA. Into Thursday here, we have services PMI number for the British pound, and into the US session, unemployment claims data, again very important, and trade balance for Canada here. Canada has been taking a little bit of a beating lately, especially with oil dropping as well as President Trump putting out comments about some challenges with Canada around trade. So this number will be very important for the Canadian dollar. And following that, we have ECB President Draghi speaking. Last week when he spoke, he did not give any direction as to when the asset purchase program will start tapering off, so market will be paying attention to this, but this speech may not be as important as the speech from last week. Following that, we have Bank of Canada Governor Polas speaking. With the recent challenges that Canadian dollar has had, this speech from Governor Polas could be very important for the Canadian dollar. Following that, we have RBA monetary policy statement and inflation expectations for New Zealand dollar. Going into Friday, here we have employment numbers coming out of the US. We have non-farm employment change, again, a market moving data point for the US dollar. Further into the US session, we also have Fed Chair Yellen speaking. This will be the first time she speaks after the FOMC statement. Since there's no Q&A session, her speech will be very important at this point. Let's take a look at commitment of traders data. We'll start off with the euro here. So looking at our graph, as we can see, the leverage money positions have the short positions have decreased. So we have gone from 96,320 to 81,305. So this is positive or bullish for euro dollar. Looking at pound data here, we see that leverage money is closing out more short positions. So we have gone from 38,542 short positions to only 19,287 short positions. This is very bullish for the British pound. With the Canadian dollar, we see the opposite here. We see that the short positions are increasing. We have gone from 42,766 short positions to 57,285 short positions. So this is negative for Canadian dollar, which means bullish for dollar CAD. Looking at New Zealand dollar here, we see a pretty flat type of position. We do see a slight increase in the short positions. We have gone from 32.65 short positions to 37.79 short positions. Overall, slight increase in short positions, which means this is bearish for New Zealand dollar. For Aussie US dollar here, we are seeing a decrease in long positions, which is basically bearish for Aussie US dollar here. We have gone from 37,943 long positions to 29,851 long positions. So there is a decrease in long positions, which is bearish for Aussie US dollar. Let's move on to the charts now. We are looking at Euro US dollar weekly chart. Last week, price traded in this range. We did open high after Macron won the first round of elections. However, the French elections are not done yet. So this week, we could see volatility in the euro. If we see a lot of positive poll results coming out prior to the elections for Macron, we could see euro go up. But more than likely, we could see range-bound trading prior to the elections, because there is still a second round of elections coming up on the weekend. As a result of that, prior to that, we may just see euro range bound unless we see really positive poll results in favor of Macron. In that sense, we are looking for price to stay between 109.50 to the upside and 107.80 to the downside. However, if we do see a break to the upside, our next target would be 110.50 area. So that will be this next target up. However, prior to that, we could see a pullback into 107.80 area and then a pushback higher. And the target to the upside is 110.50. Looking at the daily chart here, this is the range that we have been trading in. So far, it has been a very tight range between 109.50 and 108.20. So that range could stretch slightly lower into 107.80 area. However, there is still positivity in euro dollar because of Macron taking a lead in the polls and also winning the first round of elections. So at this point, we will treat this as a range bound market, and we are looking to buy into the previous support areas 108.20 or 107.80, and potentially we could see a sell trade at 109.50 if the price holds below, just like this one. If it breaks to the upside, or once it breaks to the upside, we're looking for a further move to 110.50, but that may not come till next week. Pound US dollar here, we have seen a last 3 weeks of positive move in the pound. At this point, things have changed with the elections being announced for June. As a result of that, British pound is very, very positive at this moment and still looks bullish. So we could see another move to the upside. Prior to that, though, we could see a pullback, and the target for pullback will be 2780 level, and then we're looking for a further move to the upside. The target for the upside move would be 131.20. Here's our chart. Price did trade within this range but closed high into the end of the week, and now we could see a pullback. The first level for the pullback would be 128.50, and if the price goes deeper than that, we are looking for a 127.80. But overall, this is bullish. Price has broken into this previous support and resistance area. It has broken above the previous high, and now we're likely to see a pullback and further move up to 131.20. Dollar CAD here has been very bullish. We have seen the price close above 13600 and above this previous support and resistance area. So this is very bullish. Our next target would be 138. If we get negative commentary from FOMC, or if the market takes it as negative or dovish, we are likely to see this pair go lower. However, barring that, if we do see positive commentary, then we are likely to see this push up. At this point, we are bullish and we're looking for a push back up into 13800 as the first target. Looking at the daily chart, as we can see here, price has broken above the highs and it's still holding above the highs. So we are bullish on dollar CAD. Aussie dollar here, we have traded in this range for the last 3 weeks now. Last week we did break out of this range to the bottom. However, the price did not hold below that. At this point, we're looking for a bit of a pullback into 0.7500 and then a potential move to the downside. Our target is 73.20 to the downside. Looking at the daily chart here, we can see price has been making lower highs. It did break below the support and resistance area at 107,500, and now we're looking for another move to the downside, potentially into this support and resistance level at 73.20. New Zealand US dollar has been very weak. We got a very, very bearish candle for the week. At this point, we're looking for a further move to the downside. We could see a pullback into 69.20 and then a drop to the downside. The downside target here is 66.80. Looking at the daily chart here, this is where we are sitting. We could see a pullback into this 69.20 level, and the next target is 66.80 here to the downside. That's it for today. I will see you next time.